So for the roasted peanuts, I have these two, which I got from Tesco. They were £2.19 each. It's also the peel and reseal bag. I have a short video which I did last time, and I'll just show you now. So this is the first time round me trying it. Today's the 29th of March, and after I had the nuts roasted, I stored them in containers that I had lying around at home. That's the peanuts there, and I also used this tin to store them, and I also had this olive jar, and we literally ate about 250 grams that were raw before I decided to roast them. So today I thought, let me make some peanut butter and see how it goes. And this is the peanut butter that I have. And guys, I did not add a single drop of oil or water to this. Nothing. This is the peanuts just by itself. This is another one. Now the difference with the color, which you could see, is that this one has the peel on it and this one doesn't. So it's really up to you. I guess you find both. I remember the one I got off Holland and Barrett had the peanuts, the peels in it. So what I did with the peels, again, which I'll explain in the full video, is for this one, I didn't use the peels at all. It was just the peanuts by themselves. For this one was the same, but I took the peels off and basically kept them somewhere. And when I was ready to use them, I used the grinder to grind just the peels. No peanuts in there, just the peels I put in there. So essentially those peels I put in the grinder, and I grind them for about 30 seconds, and that's what it came out as. And then I tipped some of it in here and just again blended it for about 30 seconds just to incorporate it there. So that's it really. That's the first time around we're trying it, and I thought to make it even better, let me cook some peanut butter with it. Peanut butter soup with it. 10 minutes and that's done. That's all I wanted. I'm not trying to cook the chicken really. I just want to take off all these bits. So now I'm going to fish it out and just leave it somewhere till I need it. I have the ingredients I'm going to blend, which is plum tomatoes, some chili, dry chili, and onions. I have 2 onions. So in the pot full halfway with water, I'm just going to put the ingredients. So this is rapid boiling now. It's at 24 minutes. That frying noise is my jollof rice, by the way. So now I'm just going to put in the peanut butter. I'm going to use both. It's at 48 minutes, and I'm just going to put the tomato puree. By the way, this is a snail. This is actually from Gambia. It's 3 pieces. It's just frozen together. This is like the fresh one, and to me this is the only one I can eat, because there's another one which is fermented. It's actually much darker. It's much stronger. In Gambia, when we put snail in food, you don't put like a whole bunch. Actually, you really should just put one. Like most people, for this amount of food, they'll put just the one. But I like it, and there isn't a much of a strong flavor or taste to it, so I get to put 3 because I really do like it. But should you have been using the other one, they'll definitely just put 1, and probably even half the size of this. Yep. It's taking much longer to cook this one, and the reason, honestly, that I think is because I'm using a small pot, so I don't have enough room to allow, you know, the water, more water. And I've just put in the stock cubes, and now I'm going to put in some lemon and the chicken. Just have a taste, really. And I can tell you, it's the best feeling to cook the own peanut butter that you have made. And it's all smooth. It tastes really good. You can taste how fresh it is, and there's a lot of sweetness to it, which, by the way, for me, I think next time when I do the roasting of the nuts, I will definitely allow it to brown a little bit more, because it wasn't as brown as, and it's done really. This has taken really a long time, but honestly, should I have used a bigger pot, it wouldn't take me this long. Now, I always tend to use the 2 bags for this one tray that I have, and I also, to store them, I like to use these. This is a peanut tin, actually, from M&S, which I just got for Christmas and I had kept. So yeah, it's like the aluminium thing going on there, and this is like the mashed potato tin as well. Again, the same thing going on there. And this time I want to also use my tea tin, which sort of has that aluminium thing going on there. And the reason why I want to do that is because the last time when I stored them, I did use these 2, and then I also used a glass jar. But I can tell you that from my experience, the glass jar didn't keep it as fresh as these ones did. However, I did eat the one in the glass jar last, so perhaps that was why. And I would say the time scale for it to keep fresh is probably about 10 to 14 days. So for definitely this time around, I'll be using these 3. And also what I'll do different is this time around, I hope to roast it a bit longer, just so it goes a bit darker, just to give it that more of an intense flavor. If you watch the video, you can see the colors that I did come to last time. However, when you roast it, do be careful, because it being burnt absolutely doesn't give you a peanutty taste. I don't find that very peanutty. It's not very pleasant. So I'll just look to, have it a bit darker, but not actually it going burnt and really dark brown. And the other thing is, I always like to use the 2 kilos in the tin, because I have tried it with 1 kilo before, and I just got a bit, I wasn't really too happy with the cooking time, because I'm used to cooking it in an hour, so I definitely know what I'm working with. So with these 2 kilos in here, the cooking time goes about an hour really. I've emptied the bags into the tin, and you can see that I have a full tin. And this is really what I meant when I say I like to work with the 2 bags, because I like the tin to be full. I think that helps with it cooking, the heat within it, especially that I like to just do it in the hour. Of course, you can just use the 1 bag, but I would say just try and have a smaller tin, just so you get this fullness as well. Now, with the last batch that I'd made, and the peanuts are still there, and when I mentioned it being not as fresh after the 14-day period, I was referring to the crunchiness of it. It's still crunchy, but not as the first few days or week. Of course, that's also normal. It can't stay fresh forever, but I just somehow feel that it stays a bit fresher in these sort of containers. So these were the sort of colors that I had, and you can see they are sort of brownish, but this one right at the end, this is more of what I want to go for this time. So not the really burnt ones, because honestly, even when you eat that, you can see, you can taste that it's not nice. I don't like it like that. So I'm just going to aim for something like this, and we see how we go from there. And the only ingredient that I use with this is salt. This is rock salt, and at the end really, and I think I'll be using all of it. However, I'll just put it now and see how I feel, and should I have any left, then I'll show you so you get to see the amount that I use. Now with the salt, it's not going to come out as the salted peanut, not like this. Into it, and you don't see it, neither will you taste it. And what I mean by taste, like for the salted peanuts that you would buy, when you eat it, of course, you can see the salt, you can just have that taste of the salt. It doesn't happen with this. The salt actually just goes into it. And I've never done it without salt, I have to be honest. If you don't want to have it If you don't want to have it with salt, of course, don't put the salt, especially if you're using it for spreads and something like that. But for me, even for the spread, I like to put salt there. And yeah, I can just tell you, you won't see the salt, neither will you have it on your tongue. But I think it will give, it will bring out the peanut flavor in it. So if you can do so, but of course you don't have to. So I've added the salt, and I did go for everything. And what I did was I just took the wooden spoon and I sort of went in like that, just so some of the salt goes in, but I didn't want to mix it through, just so the salt doesn't all go and settle at the bottom. I've been preheating my oven, and now we just put it in the oven at a mark 160. So what I do is every quarter of an hour I open it and I just mix it through. I won't bother you with showing you all the mixes that I do, so the next clip you'll see will just... So it's done now. It's 1:17, and you would not believe what I did. I mentioned last time when I did it at a 160, and I got the lighter ones, whereas this time I was hoping to get them darker. Now, just because I'm used to the 160 mark, when I put it in again this time, I just left it at 160. It was only when I came to record the up to the hour bit, then I realized, oh, I should have obviously turned it up this time if I want to do it within the hour. Common sense isn't that common, is it? So I'm sorry for that. And just because I don't want to take another hour to cook it, to roast it, I'm just going to leave it like this. I guess next time I'll again try and get to that darker brown shade that I do want it to get to. But for now, it's done really. I'm switching it off at 117, and what I do is you need to leave it there. I don't take it out, not for me anyway. So I just leave it there and let it cool down completely. So it's 2-3 hours later, and I've taken it out of the oven, and as I earlier showed you, I'll be storing them in these containers. Even though I was a little bit discouraged, I don't think I've done too badly. It does seem to have been browned a lot more than the last go I had. So, like I said, what happened was it was the hour that I realized that I had left it on the same temperature I had been using to do the other batches. And so I turned it up a notch and left it there for the 15 minutes, but it didn't really do much. Not that I thought anyway. And I just didn't want to carry on leaving it any longer. So... yeah, so okay, I'll just put them in the containers, and then I have the blender here because we're just going to make some peanut butter. So I've transferred all but just this few to the containers, and they're all pretty well filled, and now we're just gonna go ahead and make this into peanut butter. And the other time that I had done this, I had gone ahead and made two, which was one I did it without the skins on and using a spread. And the other one I had done to use it in cooking, which was I had separated the skins from the peanut itself and then grounded the skins and then grounded the peanut and then went ahead and combined it together. This time I'm not going to go through all that trouble. I'm just going to go ahead and pop everything into the blender and make the peanut butter like that. Now, there's a few recipes you can do with these roasted peanuts, like sweet recipes. There's one in particular which we do have in the Gambia. I was very fond of that. I do remember that recipe quite well. But I'm not going to be doing it on my channel, but there's another channel, a lady, Sweetest Voice Ever. She's Nigerian, and her channel is called Nigerian Food TV. I'll just put up a link right now so you can click on that and watch the recipe she does. It's very straightforward. I was actually glad to have stumbled upon that recipe because I thought that I would be able to do that recipe, but I saw that she added water, and if I had gone ahead and done that, I wouldn't have added water. I just didn't think it would have needed water. I don't have a very sweet tooth, so I really don't go into making sweet things. But should I have done it, I would have definitely added water, and I can see now I would have failed in doing the recipe. So go ahead and watch her recipe, and you will really like that, especially if you do have a sweet tooth. So let's go ahead and make this peanut butter. Okay, so it seems I've started without you, but I really didn't intend to do so. The switch was on, so it just went straight off. I haven't added any water or oil, nothing like that. All I'm using here is a chopstick, just anything pointy so you can get to poke it in and just, the peanut, as soon as it starts to blend, it loosens up quite a bit. So really, I don't really think there's any need for oil or water. Okay, so we just go ahead now. So it almost comes to a standstill, really. It's just the blade circulating in the middle. And what's happening is this is becoming stiff, and this is the point where you need to start to get in that chopstick in there and just allow it to go, because that's what it starts off with, stiff, and then it begins to loosen, and eventually it will come to the peanut butter consistency. Now you're going to have to be very patient, and also the one thing is I don't add a lot. You can see the amount that I added. That's the most that I go, and yeah, just be patient with it, and obviously switch it off. Then you go in with the chopstick and just dig in there. So I've just mixed it through, and you can see how it had gone from that sandy, grainy one to now it's like a moldy kind of a thing. And I have a recipe actually that I'll make very soon, and the main ingredient is the peanut butter, and it sort of looks something like this. If you're Gambian, you'll get to know what I mean. So that's coming up very soon. And I'm just going to go ahead and continue to blend this. So if I wanted peanut butter crunchy spread, this is where I'll stop really, because it is at that point crunchy. But if you want one thing to go smooth, what you want to do is don't forget to also scrape the sides, because should you not do that and you scrape it later, you'll find that the sides are actually crunchy, whereas just the smooth peanut butter is down there beneath. Now that I've done this, I see no need to have grounded the peels separately. I don't know what I was thinking. There's obviously no need. I can't even see them. But one thing you can definitely for sure tell is that every company sorts of decides the amount of peel they put in their peanut butter. For example, Fun Pet seems to be a lot lighter. There's the organic ones now. I've forgotten the name. I've had them in a couple of videos. But you can tell that their peanut butter is definitely a lot like this one, whereas the Fun Pet is slightly lighter. And the other thing I can also see is the oil gleaming through. So really, I wouldn't add oil to this. Okay, that's too dark. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue mixing, really. Okay, so I've literally just taken it off the plug, and now you won't believe that the oil is actually coming up just right now. I would have thought it would need to settle for, you know, like an hour or so. You can literally see the oil at the top. And that took me about 5 minutes to do with the recording and all. Now, this is not the ideal machine to use to do peanut butter. If you have like the meat grinders, that's the perfect one to use. And August has it, like it's about 18 pounds. I don't have one because I haven't read enough good reviews about it. But I just generally don't need it, and that's because I'm not really a big peanut butter fan. I'd rather just eat the peanuts, but I don't really like peanut butter recipes, to be honest with you. If you look at my channel, you won't believe it, but I really don't. But yeah, this is so beautiful. I can't believe it. All that shine you're looking at is the oil, honestly. And if I let this stand, obviously in the next hour or so, it will be covered, and that's just that little bit. Okay, so thank you all for watching. Bye.